I want to take a few minutes to read some of the passages from the book and help you guys understand how this project came about. This project is an outbirth of my doctoral study, which is entitled The Policy Implementation Challenges of the 14th Amendment, a 50-year case study on Brown versus the Board of Education. And I came across so much data and so much information, much of which I couldn't use. I said that I needed to do something with this information. And more than talk about Brown, Brown is just simply a benchmark in time. Brown, for us, represents the first time in the history of Africans in America that there was a proper interpretation of the 14th Amendment. However, since Brown, what we have tried to do is to achieve equality as we had tried to achieve equality before 1954. And what Brown was a legitimization not only of our humanhood, but a legitimization that we were in fact significant contributors to this society and needed to be treated as such. And so what we have seen over the past 50 years is an active attempt to try to undermine what Brown was intended to do, which was to achieve equality. Last year, May 17th, celebrated the 50th anniversary of the case called Brown versus the Board of Education. And it allowed us an opportunity to reintroduce the discussion about equality. Have we actually achieved equality? Have we achieved equal rights? However, this year is the 50th anniversary of the most significant portion of the Brown case, which was the implementation charge, which came down May 31st, 1955, and which the Supreme Court issued the implementation order with the words, "all deliberate speed," which essentially told Southern segregationists to take their time, don't disrupt the social order to try to achieve desegregation. And from that time, over the past 50 years, we have seen constant engagements to try to keep equality from being achieved in the African American diaspora. And so I want to kind of give you a little bit of history of where this full equality piece came from. I'm going to read about 5 passages and help you understand how the book evolved and how, particularly in the last 50 years, even though we now have the freedom of movement, or think we have the freedom of movement, because when we go into certain parts, certain people's community, we still find out quite quickly we don't have the kind of freedom of movement we think we have. Just because we can buy what white folk can buy, and we think that we have what they have, we're going to find out that the whole notion of equality has been inconsistent with what we have taught our children and what we have been taught, and the things that we need to teach our children in terms of what they should seek in terms of equality. Now, basically, the whole notion of equality in America as it is applied to African Americans has come through 2 vestiges. The interpretation, the policy of interpretation as to what equality is, and secondly, the societal attitudes or the interpretation of the dominant society, Europeans, in terms of what they perceive equality is. And the 2 most haunting vestiges of equality in our society was the 3/5 resolution, where they put in the Constitution in the 1787 Constitutional Convention that they would not count African Americans as a whole person because they did not want to equate a black person with a white person. Even free black people, even voting black people, were put in the Constitution as 3/5. So enumeration in terms of representation in our country has always been based on the fact that it would be enumerated every man, every woman, every child, and 3/5 of all other people. And that stayed in the Constitution until 1868 and the passage of the 14th Amendment. We'll talk a little bit about that.